welcome to the Staunch Talk Show. Igama nguPrincess Mahogo. Umamjahu Tumayaha, Umanzaleni, Mdomshan Peti's Kali. And next to me is another very beautiful lady, even though she is carrying weapons. So very, very careful. You can see most her hand is already hurt. Something happened. We will explain later. She's joining us today. She is the CEO of We the People South Africa. Her name is Mbali Baduza, and she will be explaining to us what We the People South Africa does, the importance that they play in society, and the importance of the Constitution. Something that we should all actually be knowing about, but I have a feeling that most of us do not. So I go school in grade 10, grade 8, you know, when our teachers were forcing us to know about it. Mbali, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here. Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for making the time. We have this game that's in front of us, but we'll explain later what this is about. So just briefly, for someone who is hearing about We the People for the very, very first time, could you please explain what it is and what it is that you do as We the People South Africa?
So We the People South Africa is a non-profit, and what we do is teach people about the Constitution. So not only what it says, but how it was made, which is an interesting story on its own, but also the impact it has on society. I think we take for granted that we have a constitution that protects us. So our job is to make those links visible. In what ways, how, and in doing that, you'll feel empowered. And
then what role do you play in society in terms of letting people know about the Constitution? What are the things that you do to engage the community in learning about the Constitution?
Yeah, so I mean, it's an interesting question because we are particularly focusing on young people, and this is because unlike our elders, you know, we don't have the same sentimental attachment to the Constitution. We know we come from a horrible past, but you know, that's history. And what we're trying to do, our role is to educate us, to show that the past matters for the present, because our present comes from the past, right? And what our present is can determine our future. So it's important for us to focus on a younger generation because of the fact that, you know, we are leaders of society now and are going to be for a time to come. But, you know, our democracy doesn't work on its own. You know, it's not something that just miraculously happens. In fact, we have to do the work. So, you know, this concept of constitutional development. A leg of constitutional development is constitutional education, right? People need to know what their rights are, number one, know how to use their rights, but they also need to know how society is structured, like how government is structured, how parliament is structured, the role of the courts and the judiciary. All of that is covered in the Constitution, and that helps us become like active citizens to make sure we build the society we want to live in, right? No one's going to do it for us. So our role is to basically activate the young minds and spirit of young people to build or continue to build South Africa.
And how then important is it for young people to firstly know their rights, know the Constitution, and besides knowing it, understand what is in the Constitution? We've been hearing this thing all over and over again, especially in terms of contracts. People sign things they don't know. The Constitution is very important in terms of knowing our rights, knowing what it stands for. So what role do young people play in that space?
Yeah, it's kind of like your ABCs. Right? If you don't know your ABCs, you won't know how to read a sentence, you won't know how to write a sentence, and in fact, you will be vulnerable, or you will stay vulnerable to not knowing. And there's nothing more powerless than not knowing, you know, that feeling of, I don't know. But knowing the Constitution is like knowing your foundation on how to exist in society. What is owed to you, what do you owe to people? And if you don't know, you'll find yourself being taken advantage of in many ways. I do believe that as human beings, we are good, but there are things in life that turn us against each other. We have perceptions of other people, and that's where violence comes in. That's where racism comes in, xenophobia comes in, just because of a perception that's ill-informed. And what the Constitution does is it creates a foundation for us to be informed properly about how to relate to each other, how to live together in a way that respects you as a human being, that gives you or allows you to live in human dignity, but also, more importantly, to hold the state accountable. Right? The state it's the role of the state as well to guarantee that our lives are better, that we all can fulfill our potential. So it's kind of like not knowing your ABCs, and it's important to know your ABCs so that you can read a sentence.
Exactly. And then what is the correlation between We the People and Constitution Hill, because you are based within Constitution Hill? Could you talk to us a bit about that connection?
So Constitution Hill is a museum, right? It's a museum because it used to be a jail, one of the worst jails in apartheid South Africa. And it would not only house criminals but also political activists. Nelson Mandela was here, Winnie Mandela was here, the Sisulus were here, Gandhi was here. I mean, it's a wonderful display of history, this place. But also it has transformed into a place for creativity, for young people to come and express themselves. Our constitutional court is located here. So us, as We the People, we also are registered as Constitution Hill Trust. We help promote this site, okay? To say, guys, come learn your history, come through. Come discover who you are by learning your history in these wonderful ways that exist in this museum. So we thought it was important for us to be located at Constitutional Hill to do the work of constitutional education.
And what other maybe organizations do you work with to do the work of informing people about, firstly, the history of where South Africa comes from and the Constitution, the importance of knowing the Constitution? What other organizations are you involved with?
So, just to tell you, although we've existed since 2006, the real ambitious constitutional education work only started 15 months ago when I came on board. Before we were doing work of like, I don't know if you know the Flame of Democracy.
Yes.
Must come to Con Hill and you must see the Flame of Democracy. It's a beautiful story also how that happened. So we were busy developing Con Hill, but we weren't doing like the constitutional literacy work in the way that it was needed. So we are a new team. The 7 of us, we are a new team. And in these past 15 months, we've worked with people like Future Elect. Future Elect is a company or an organization run by Lindiwe Mahogo. And what she does is she teaches ordinary people about like elections, about the role of the president, a lot of like public civic education, broader than the Constitution. Ours is limited to the Constitution. She has an app, Future Elect. It's free for the public. I recommend that you download it. We work with MultiChoice. After the elections, we were all confused after the elections. We're like, what's going on? What is this GMU? And what they did is they picked like 5 most popular questions on the internet, and then gave them to us to answer using the Constitution. We were able to do that, and they created a show called What's Next, which answered those questions and educated the people more, like just a way in which to, like, it's okay. The Constitution has the answers. Don't worry.
What's going on?
Don't worry. And we won the New Generation Award, the Silver Award for that. We have partners in even in like informal ways. So there are these group of young facilitators who go to schools called Be the Future Foundation, and they do voter education in schools. And now we are training them to be able to do constitutional literacy in schools. Similarly, in Cape Town, there are these great young men called Heroes Academy.
Okay.
And what they do is that they work with vulnerable schools, particularly in the outskirts of Cape Town, that are particularly boys, only boys, they only teach boys. And what they do is after school train them on just like, sexual education, constitutionalism, just how to be and how to contribute to society. The list can go on.
Yeah,
go on our website. The answers are there.
Okay, the website?
Yeah, and the website, which is wethepeoplesa.org. You'll see that there are various things you can do on the website. One of them is that there's a resource tab, and the resource tab has a plethora of information. But not in like a boring way where you have to read like a textbook. It's presented in ways that how we are as young
Keep you
people.
interested in reading.
Yeah, and engage. It's not only how you read, it's also how you listen, right? We learn in different ways. So the website tries to be as multi-dimensional as possible when it comes to teaching and learning. So if I were you, just go onto that research tab and explore different ways in which you can learn about the Constitution.
All right, and I heard you talking about that you are involved with basically different communities in various provinces. So for someone who is watching right now, either a young person or even just an elderly person in the community who says, I want to be involved with this organization, I want to either do something in my community, maybe they have an idea of how you could help educate or keep people engaged in their community. How can they find you, and or what are the steps that they need to follow in order to get a hold of you to discuss that?
So you can Google us, We the People South Africa, or We the People SA. You can Google us and you'll see our information comes out. But the best way where we would probably respond quite quickly is if you email us at info@wethepeoplesa.org. That's info@wethepeoplesa.org, or on our socials. So we are everywhere. We are on TikTok, we are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on LinkedIn as @wethepeoplesa. If you reach out to us, we'll get back to you. But more than that, the first thing you actually want to do is read the Constitution. I think it's a beautiful starting point for any development of a person. Even if you don't read the whole thing, right? I would recommend just read at least the preamble, because the preamble of the Constitution, which starts with the words "We the people," the people, South Africa, is a promise. It's like a promise we made to each other back in the day, a promise that we continue to make to each other to build a free and just South Africa, and in many ways summarizes the whole Constitution. So start there and then reach out to us. And you can find the Constitution on our website and the preamble on our website.
And earlier this year I had the pleasure of meeting you guys for the first time, and we got to play this card game that was about the Constitution, which was very fun. You know what, I'll actually shoot something and include it in this interview in this section. Hey guys, so I'm just going to quickly explain the card game that I mentioned in the interview. So this is it. The cards are written at the back, We the People. There's two different cards, and let me just split them. So there are these as you can see have a black outline, and these have a yellow outline. So you have to match these with these, and you can play it sort of like the way you play 30 seconds, where you shuffle the cards and you time the person. So you can play as teams, you can play as pairs. So for example, this card says section 10, human dignity, and you have to match it. Look for the one that matches it on this side, the right that matches it. So I've already piled like 3 matched, like 3 that's at the top. I'll show you just now. So human dignity goes with everyone has the right to have their dignity respected and protected. This right connects with all other rights in the Bill of Rights. And then you move it aside, much like 30 seconds, but it's very fun, you know, because you are learning while you are playing. Okay, some of my cards just fell out. All right, so next one is life. Section 11 says life, and then on this side I took the card that matches with it, and it says everyone has a right to life. The right to life means that life cannot be taken, not even by the state. The state has a duty to protect the lives of all those living in South Africa. I think this goes back to why the death sentence was stopped in South Africa. It's still happening in other countries, but in South Africa we no longer have the death sentence, no matter how bad the crime is that you committed. Obviously that's up to you to argue. I'm not going to enter it. I'm a Christian. I believe everyone has a right to life. The only person who has the right to take it away is God, the person who gave it. Okay, so the next one is section 29, which is education, and I matched it with this card that says this right ensures that everyone has access to basic education. This is an immediately realizable right. This right includes further education, which the state, through reasonable measures, must make progressively available and accessible. Right, so I think we will stop it there for now. I hope that you guys understand now what the whole game is about. It's quite fun. You can play it with your friends and your family, and you can just visit their website, as Mbali mentioned. We did write the website on the screen, so you can just visit their website and get in touch with them to know how to get this game. So back to the interview. But today you brought us a different one, and I really liked that game, and I like how you approach towards how you teach people about the Constitution, because it's very engaging. Because listening to someone can get quite boring, as you said earlier in the interview, and the way that you've structured the games and the methods of teaching people about the Constitution, it's very engaging, and it keeps you interested, and you're gaining knowledge while having fun.
Exactly.
I love that. Now, we've been having this board in front of us the whole time. I was never one to play games like this when I was young. My mother is very scared of snakes, so this was never at our house. This would have probably been classified as demonic.
Ish, mama. At least now
my mom is a pastor, guys. Please understand. Please understand.
Yeah, these things are a bit scary.
But other than that, it has snakes. So anything with snakes, no. But anyway, so please teach me how to play the game. What's the game about? What's going on? I'm seeing colors. I'm seeing the South African flag. What's happening here?
Okay.
Just so you guys get a sense of what's going on.
And if you want a copy, just drop us an email, or, like I said, on our socials, after you've read the preamble. We're happy to send you a copy of this game. So in our program, we're trying to teach the Constitution in various ways. One of them is through play. Right? Another one is through a curriculum, a life orientation curriculum, for grades 7 till 12.
Nice.
That will be launched in January. We are working with the elements who are an edutainment company. So the mixture of education and entertainment in one, you know. And Snakes and Ladders game, the Bill of Rights edition, is a way to be innovative and not on the nose about how you learn, because you know it's not something you need to remember or like memorize in your constitution. It's actually something that you need to own. You know, you need to live it. It's about being. You know, and one way to do that is through play.
Yes.
So this game has some of the Bill of Rights that are dedicated to children.
Okay.
And for example, if you let's play. I'll be easy on you. So you roll the dice, obviously.
She is definitely lying. She will not be easy on me. That hand. Says a lot.
I just started boxing, so I punched too
We
hard.
didn't ask her explanation. I'm the host of this show.
Sometimes you know.
When she doesn't win, so loser.
I always win. If you play a game, you play to win. Okay, so you roll the dice, right?
Okay,
and to enter the game, it must be a 6, right? Let's pretend you rolled a 6.
okay.
For purposes of the video. But after the video, let's play for real.
Okay.
Kick your butt. Okay, there you go.
Do you mean literally or you mean
No,
just theoretically?
no violence. No, guys, violence is unnecessary. Let's use our words. No, this is exercise. Let me tell you about the benefits.
joking.
Let me tell you about the benefits of boxing, right? Firstly, it helps you lose weight, but also it allows you to be fit quite quickly. It's just like too hard, you know what I mean? But I'm going to be back on Saturday.
The fact that you seriously took a moment to explain this. I'm joking, guys. She didn't hit anyone. She was training.
Yeah,
That's
I'm a lover, not a fighter. You know?
Okay.
So.
Gamageza la enza le interview. Sauti shu. Okay.
So I rolled a 4, right?
Okay.
And I say I'm green, so I move 1, 2, 3, 4, and I land on number 5 that says I have the right to education. And because having the right to education is something that propels you to have a better future, you know, yeah, you got me better.
Oh.
You know, and then say you roll 1, you roll the 1, or you'll end up here, which is a blue tile. Now, remember the South African flag has different colors. Each color actually has a particular meaning. And blue means the endless possibility of the South African people. There's so much possibility in this country, and all we have to do is realize it. So if you land here, you get to move 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. This way.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
And then you can join me.
And I can. So do I kick you out of the game?
We stay there together.
Okay, whatever. Right here together.
Let's try.
Sharing is
another
caring,
one. Sharing is
apparently.
caring, for real. And actually, I'll show you where in the board that teaches us.
Okay.
Okay, I move
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So this one just says that in South Africa everyone is equal. Yeah. Okay, you can roll.
Oh, 1.
Oh, but look.
Okay, I got a nice one.
You got a nice one, yeah. So this one is a white tile. So that's the white on the flag, and the white means peace.
Okay.
It means peace, and the reason why it's there is because we come from a turbulent past where there wasn't peace in this country. So it says here, if one person lands here, then we all move forward together once, right? So thank you for making me move. So you can also move. Okay. So throughout the game, there are these nuggets to teach us lessons about the meanings of the flag and the powers that these colors have, right? And how we can live them in our everyday life. My favorite one is the black on the flag, and it represents the African community. And like all things black, right? We tend to do things together. So if you land up here, you get to take your friend with you to 45, as if you're closer to the end, you know. So there are all these little lessons that we'd like to teach people on how to be and how to treat each other, rooted in the Constitution. So this is the Snakes and Ladders game.
That's really nice, and like that was fun, even though I am losing. There was a lot of shika going on, but it's fine.
If we were to play for real, there would be a real contest, I'm sure. I mean, I'll still win, but there'll be a real contest.
Evidence. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much. This was actually so much fun. So you can get yourself yours after reading the Constitution. Then you can get in touch with them, and they will organize some games for you, those that are still available.
Yeah. I mean, we'd love to give to schools. We'd love to give to your home, so you can play over the December holiday. Just it's a nice family game also. Just to play together and learn together.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Before I let you go, is there anything else maybe that we didn't touch on that you feel is important to mention that you'd like the viewers to know?
Yeah, I think one thing we didn't touch upon, I did say it earlier, was about how the Constitution was written. You know, we have this idea that the Constitution was written by old people, white people in the West, and it's not a constitution that is for you, and that is far from the truth, you know. So, you know, in 1994, when we did our first elections, our first democratic elections, we not only voted for a government, we also voted for 490 people to write to the Constitution, and to write it in 2 years. These people were as diverse as you can imagine, from young to old, black, white, different political parties, different genders. There were more women in the Constitutional Assembly than in any other parliament at the time. And what they did is that they took the time to go visit people in their homes, in their schools, in their churches, and say, what would you like in this Constitution? And you can trace what is in the Constitution to the lived experience of the people of South Africa. That's why it's such a unique document, and that's why it's one of the best in the world, because it was written by the people. And there's more stories about this writing that you can check out on our social media. We're trying to tell it in a way that you would enjoy. So please do follow us, particularly on TikTok, but also on Instagram, to hear more about how the Constitution was written.
Well, thank you so much, Mbali, for your time. That is Mbali from We the People, the CEO. I've never seen a much friendly CEO, but with the bullishness side.
Kaloko, in order to be a boss, you need to.
But seriously, thank you so much for your time. She's quite a busy bee, so I'm going to let you go. But thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the game. I will be taking it home with me, and we'll be playing over the December holidays.
Great.
In the Eastern Cape. I never asked you, where are you from?
I'm from the Eastern Cape.
In Dawoni.
Estate.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Come, December. Maybe.
Okay, where are you from?
Mthatha.
Oh, SO4 though.
I look, you are the CEO, you have money, you will travel and come see me. You will come and see. You CEO and Zanga broke?
Come and here.
Okay. Okay, but honestly, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. I hope that this episode was quite informative, as it was for me, and we hope that you learned a thing or two. We are all fun and games, but we are also about learning. So do go visit their website, We the People. Just check them out, Google them, and follow them on social media. Follow them on TikTok. Thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you next time. Goodbye and God bless.
Bye.